Eric looks at you and tosses you a shotgun. Gerald, what do? Do we fight? Do we run?
They came in through the only door, right?
There's a window. It's on the second floor. But yes, they came in through the
I am
only
too
door.
old and fat to be jumping out a second-story window. Fight! Take them out and try to get through that doorway.
Zombies are starting to pour through. Gerald... Gerald rolls a natural 1.
Jesus.
But Eric, in this situation, rolls an 11. Gerald, you do one of these things where you stumble into the back of the corner in your hospital gown, your ass is hanging out, you've got your shotgun. It's like, oh no. It's kind of like the where you lose your shit for just a second, and Eric pretty much saves your ass. The door's clear to move on. You do hear movement outside.
Is the hallway just full of zombies as well?
Once you go out into the hallway, you see some off at one end, and you see a smaller amount off at the other end. You think you can make your way to the stairs? You'd have to do some more fighting though.
Damn right. I get to those stairs, need to get on ground level. So Gerald Conway runs in his gown with his big fat white ass hanging out. Come on, Eric, this way.
Eric follows without any sarcastic remarks or protest. You
Probably
reach the
screaming
next
again.
group of zombies at the stairs, and they are mean looking. You're able to take some of them down, and then right when you make it to the stairs, you look behind you. You see Eric elbow one to the side, shoot another under the chin, and then 3 of them come right behind him and start chomping giant bits out of Eric's neck. Blood vessels are popping, giant stringy bites of flesh are hanging out of their mouth. Eric makes a sound you've never heard him make before, and he goes, "Ah!" And he goes, "Get out of here, save yourself," which does not sound like Eric, but
Nope.
he's trying to hold him back. He's doing that heroic, like, make your way, I'll hold him off. Like, he's stabbing things as he's getting bit up.
Well, on the one hand, it fights like Eric. I don't know if any of this is real. Zombies? Really?
Eric suffers a very bloody and violent death at the hands of these zombies, but thanks to his noble sacrifice, you're able to make it to the stairs.
Down the stairs I go. Sorry, Eric.
Okay, you make it to the lobby, and you can see the door of the hospital. Between you and that door is a giant sea of zombies. Going back up is not an option because you start to hear them shambling down.
Shit. Sea of zombies in front of me, whole bunch of zombies behind me. Now, is there a gurney nearby?
Sure, you can get yourself a gurney.
Alright, well, the plan is to take the gurney in front of me, use it to try to push my way through the zombies. I'm a pretty sizable dude. I can use that to hopefully punch through, and if I get stuck, I can try to climb up and run across the gurney to dive out the door.
Gerald is actually able to, he's got this gurney. He's got his blue gown, ass hanging out, which is important to remember.
Yep.
Big old gut flinging this way and that. And he pushes behind himself. And he's bowling over a couple zombies. You get a few of them limbs flapping off. And he is heroically pushing these zombies outside. And he's pushing to the side. And he's making it to the door. You've got hands. You get scratches all over your arms. You feel teeth here and there, but nobody gets a really good grab. And then you make it to the door. The door does not open.
Do I still have the shotgun?
You've still got the shotgun. And,
Problem solved.
And you're heroically pumping shell after shell into these shambling zombies who are getting closer.
Fuck the zombies, the door.
The door, okay.
Like, kill the goddamn door. It's freaking hospital. It's probably glass.
You briefly stopped by the door. So you briefly stop by the door. You make it. You're like, God damn it. And you try to pull it open. Nope. And then you're like, fuck this. You step back. And you give one of those heroically dramatic shotgun shots, like, yeah, fuck you, door. And it shatters. Glass everywhere. And you're able to jump through. You've made it outside. Good news. They see you outside. They're attracted by the loud noise and the new smell of fresh meat. You see the slow zombie movements towards you, but these ones are a little bit faster than your made-for-TV zombies. These ones actually look like they. So you've got zombies coming at you. You've got a hair of breathing room because you leave the gurney behind yourself, blocking that door. The zombies are a little bit stupid. You've got a minute to try and formulate a plan.
If there's a car running without a zombie in it, I'm going to try to commandeer it. Or even if there is a zombie sitting in a running car, I will try to rip that thing out of the car and take the car.
All you see is sporadically placed zombies.
My first action is just to play keep away from the zombies. Just dancing around, looking around. I'm going to stick with car because that's my option. If there's not a running car, I might try to get in one and lock it because that will buy me some time. Zombies might not be able to punch through. So I run around, and if there's no cars on the street, like you said, there's no people, there's no traffic.
The best one that you think you have a shot of getting inside is an SUV parked about 100 feet away. There's other cars that are closer, but there's a lot of zombies between you and them. So you make your way to the black SUV. The door is locked.
I just take the shotgun, bash the passenger window,
Okay. Yep.
try to bust that out, unlock the door, climb in, lock the door. The zombie's gonna have a hell of a time climbing in that window, but I can hold them at bay. And I go about trying to hotwire this thing to start.
The good news is that Gerald is a very skilled person when it comes to quickly breaking into vehicles and hot wiring. You're able to do that. You get the vehicle started, but you didn't remember this many zombies being around. You really thought there was less. You're kind of in one of those situations now where you're safe in the car for the time being, but you've got like a 2-foot wall of zombies around you on every side. They're deep.
I think it's an SUV. The big plan is to let a zombie crawl in the window and then point blank its head off.
So you've got this zombie. It claws your arm up fucking good. You're able to eventually bash its head in.
I take the passenger seat belt and I wrap it around it a couple of times and click it in so it's stuck there.
Okay.
And then I assume there's still enough room in the window for another one to try to get in, so I will rinse and repeat, kind of latch it down too. And then I worry about trying to drive the vehicle through the seas, like back, forward, like I'm stuck in snow.
You feel like you're able to make some progress. If that wall of zombies was still only 2 feet deep, you'd have had it. But sometime between you killing those 2 zombies and you starting to drive that car, the zombie seems to stretch out into infinity. They're starting to bash on the windshield. It cracks, breaks. You're pushing that fractured glass up, trying to keep them out. They're pounding it on the sides. Eventually, the back window breaks out like the front one did, but you're not there to hold it up. The zombies do come inside, and Gerald is turned into zombie chow.
Tink, tink, tink. I fight to the very end.
You do. Gerald puts up an amazing fight. Eric. Gerald coughs up a bunch of blood. And the monitors start going beep, 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 beep. And the doctors rush in and they inject something into one of the tubes. They put their stethoscope up to his heart and they fiddle with some of the knobs on his pacing wire. And the things settle down for a minute after whatever they injected him with seems to have helped for the time being. You see that happen, Eric.
Okay.
The doctors come back in shortly thereafter with a clipboard and he says, Gerald's kidneys appear to be shutting down. Was he recently involved in some sort of industrial mining operations?
Not that I'm aware of.
We don't know how, but we found traces of sulfur in his bloodstream.
Shit.
It doesn't explain any of his other symptoms, but it's putting an incredible strain on his internal organs. We would like to start him on dialysis and try to clean up his blood, maybe buy us some more time to figure out what's going on.
What you gotta do, Doc?
Eric, you would notice that the black tendrils are spreading. They have made it shortly outside of his nose. The doctor seems to notice, but what is he gonna do? He makes a note of it and moves on.
Update Vance on the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, looks like there's actual sulfur.
I'm narrowing it down to a few things. I need about another hour and I'll call you back.
Alright.
Oh man, god damn it, you guys. Sulfur? Hangs up the phone.
After that, head outside, drive to a fairly secluded area. And by fairly, completely and utter.
Okay, you have total and utter seclusion to do as you wish.
I'll pull the demon out of the trunk, try to torture some answers out of him. Coat a knife in holy water, gradually working my way up to waterboarding him with holy water.
Oh, shit.
And with the claw, I'll draw a devil's trap on it too, so. Wow. Like he's completely seized up in the face, so. I'll pull this piece of shit out of the trunk.
He hisses at you. He's full of fight now.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's like a chair right around that I can sit him up on.
Find a stump from a cut down tree because you're in secluded buttfuck nowhere.
So I sit him down. I grab a supermarket gallon and, I start blessing it in front of him.
Do your worst.
I will.
I'll never help you.
You will. You will. Once it's blessed, I pour some over the knife. I level with them. I understand you're a demon. You've been locked in my trunk for the last couple of weeks. I imagine there's a lot of pride that goes into being an evil piece of shit like you. So what you're gonna wanna do is gnash your teeth, call me out of my name, and put up the good fight. But what I'm gonna tell you now is, I know you've been in hell, and I'm pretty sure that's a place full of suffering. But hell is an old concept. And the suffering there, I'm pretty sure, is fairly outmoded. So what I'm going to promise you here and now is that me being a young man, me being particularly cruel young man, especially when it comes to demons, I promise that what I do to you today will make hell seem like a weekend getaway. Get your best girl, You go for bread and breakfast. You wake up after a life-altering sex, and then you just have a great breakfast. That's what hell's going to be. And you're going to yearn for that. And I'm going to deny you that. So you tell me what I need to know. So that's the deal I'm going to make you. First, I want to open up with a little light torture before I even ask anything. Just get him prepped. I just run the tip of the knife from his hairline down the side like a lover's caress. His name doesn't matter because he's Sally today. And then I go over Conway's condition, ailment by ailment. So the first would be vivid nightmares.
I give everybody nightmares. Ah!
Anything about the nosebleeds, the seizures?
He looks like he knows something, but he's not quite ready to give it up. Waterboarding is a fairly recent invention. They didn't cover that one in the what to do if you're captured by a hunter prep school down in hell. At first he's defiant, but then once he realizes he has no choice but to breathe in holy water because you're stabbing him, making him gasp, he's defiant for about a minute, and then he just starts doing this with his hands. And you can't hear what he's saying because he's got a cloth over his mouth. But he does this. He's waving uncle.
Okay. Well, I keep going for 20 extra seconds just to let him know the stitches, bitches. And then I ease up and pull the
He's got smoke.
Get it all out. I'm sure your lungs are full of it. Just
coughing up smoke. He's got burn marks all over his face where the holy water has really had a chance to dig in.
You even sidle around him and start patting him on the back. Tell him to get it off.
It doesn't matter. He's gonna die.
Well, even if that is the case, the information will still be valuable to me in case I ever come across it or fall victim to it. So less stalling, more balling, bro.
Your friend won the lottery. Back in Missouri, he got cut up by the demons pretty good. Normally, who cares, right? But he caught it. He fucking caught it. Every once in a while, the devil smiles on demons, and one of you bastards catches it from us.
And what exactly is it?
I don't know what you call it, but his soul's getting eaten away from the inside. He's gonna die. He's gonna go crazy, and his body's gonna shut down, and he'll be in hell, where all the other hunters go. So we can start working on him.
There's no way to reverse the effects.
Like getting better? Fuck if I know.
Well, he's not getting worse.
This guy is a low-level grunt. Apparently he's heard about it, but after, I'd say, a good 20 minutes of working him over, just for the fun of it, really, at this point, revenge.
I made promises that I intend to keep, so.
Right. And you make him wish for hell. He's got friends in hell. And soul polio. Gerald has soul polio.
Solio.
I'm sad that I didn't come up with that. You're convinced that he doesn't know how to fix it, but it's some sort of demonic soul poisoning that Gerald caught back when you were ending the summoning in that racist town. You've never heard of it, but I mean, that's what you've got.
I clean up the area, get all my utensils back, throw it away, and I dry them off a bit, gag them again, and toss them.
No, you've got to be fucking... Just kill me already.
No. And then I give Vance a call and update him with the new intel.
Vance picks up the phone. What'd you say? Some sort of what?
Yeah, apparently there was this summoning in this astonishingly racist town a couple of weeks back, and they were trying to summon a demon. We managed to halt the summoning, but apparently when we were putting that genie back in the bottle, Conway was already in a pretty bad way, and apparently he got some sort of generative soul disease, plus his fragile state apparently had left him susceptible to getting his soul slowly eaten away from the inside out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't think he had anything to do with it, but if you think that's a lead, that's a follow.
Jesus fuck. All right, well that narrows it down. I think I've got something, but I want to check the lore to see. God damn it, you guys! What the fuck are you getting into? Okay, all right. Where are you? Are you near Gerald?
I'm about to head back now. I had to torture a demon to get the information, so can't really do that in the hospital waiting room.
All right.
I mean, I guess you can.
Yeah, I mean you could, but
yeah.
Jesus Christ! And he hangs up the phone. Gerald.
Yeah, damn, trying, man.
You wish you were that coherent. You're 8 years old, sitting inside your room, and your father is outside yelling at your mother. You hear sounds of anger and rage. You hear dishes breaking. You hear your mother being slapped. to the ground, you hear him raise his voice that his dinner was burnt.
You knew better.
And
No spaghetti tonight.
that she made him do it. It's her fault that he does this to her. And you hear her get struck again, and she cries out. You're inside your room. What do you do?
Cry, I'm 8 years old. But not too loudly because I don't want my dad to hear me. Or I'll have to man up again.
You stay inside your room.
I hide in my closet with my teddy bear.
This goes on for a little while, and it escalates.
I go to my happy place.
Okay.
Slide.
While you're inside your happy place, you very distantly hear your mother get beat to death by your father.
Alright, let's see here. Oh, I rolled a 10. God damn it.
And then for a minute, everything's quiet. You hear the refrigeration unit, also known as the refrigerator, open, and you hear the sound that you're very familiar with. You hear the carbonation on a beer popping. Everything's quiet for a minute, giving you a chance to decide what you're going to do next.
Well, I think 8-year-old Gerald Conway is going to try to sneak out of his window and run to the neighbors.
Your windows have bars on them.
God damn it. The fuck was I raised? Alright. Tentatively, clutching desperately to Mr. Fuzzy, my bear, I tentatively sneak out of my room and see if I can't make it to the front door to run away.
You're able to creep your way across the living room, which is strewn with beer cans. There's garbage on the floor. It's a squalid hellhole. Your dad is sitting in a lounger watching television, and you make it a few steps before you reach the body of your mom, who is sprawled out face first on the carpet with a pool of blood around her temple, where
Mommy, no.
apparently he clocked her just right, busted open the blood vessels leading to her brain, and with repeated strikes, killed her. Gerald?
I know in my mind that I should get away and try to call the cops or something because maybe they can help his mother. But if it doesn't feel right, I may know where Daddy keeps his gun, and I'm certain he doesn't keep it locked up.
Daddy does keep a gun in the house. So you're able to make your way in, and you get the rifle. And you hear some stirring behind you as your dad makes his way into the living room. And he's got a beer in one hand and a beer in the other hand.
Two-fisting.
Himbo.
What the fuck do you think you're doing, you little shit? You've got a beat on him. What are you gonna do with that, little man? You don't even know how to hold it.
Shoot him in the dick.
You try to shoot him in the dick.
I will have no siblings.
We have no step-siblings.
You shoot your dad right in the dick. I'm like, you little motherfucker.
That's what he just shot off. The little motherfucker.
And he spends a moment doing that, and he whips his beer bottle, one of them. He hangs on to the other one. In a blind rage, it clips you off the side of the temple. It doesn't knock you out. The glass shatters. Teach you some respect, god damn it. And he takes his beer bottle, bashes it to the side of the hallway, creating a broken bottle weapon. Yeah. So you take another shot at your dad. You're little, your hands are shaking, you miss your shot. And your dad comes up, dick bleeding everywhere. Pants all torn up. You blew his pants open, so he's got half a dick just bleeding everywhere.
I'm pretty sure I failed this challenge when I didn't run away, but this was worth it.
And he slashes you with that beer bottle.
No, Daddy, no, I'm 8 years old.
You drop the gun because he's slashed your arms up. He starts to beat you with his belt.
I just boxed a god, and I'm not getting my ass beat by my dream father, abusive father.
You're getting wailed on.
Not accepting that.
You're getting wailed on with the buckle. So you're doing one of these. What do you got? One more chance to try and do something.
Obviously, I'm cowering towards the ground because I'm getting my ass beat with a belt. Well, that's where the gun is.
Okay,
so,
yep, it is.
Point blank.
Okay, last chance. You're able to get the gun up, you get another shot off, and it catches him in the gut. And he stumbles back, collapses, and starts to bleed out. Gerald, you're all beat to shit. You've got a cut that's bleeding pretty bad down the left side of your body, all down your shoulder and arm. You got hit in the face a bunch of times with a belt buckle, so you're all puffy and red. Your dad's not moving. All of a sudden, everything kind of fades away. The room goes away, your dad goes away, and it kind of just fades to white, and then gets darker and darker and darker, and everything goes from white to black. In the distance, you see the cloaked figure that you saw at the beginning of the dream start walking towards you.
Son of a bitch.
He walks up and he stares at you, and he pushes his cloak back, and it's the same person you saw in the forest. You still don't recognize him, but he says, "Whatever you do, don't look down."
Pink elephants, pink elephants, pink elephants, pink elephants,
and I'm going to roll grit just for the hell of it. For the life of you, do not look down.
No, I look him dead in the eyes. I don't know who the fuck you are, you malcreated piece of shit.
You start feeling the sensation of falling. And so you look him right in the eyes, and his eyes go like this. Suddenly, Gerald feels the sensation of falling down an impossibly long well. It's not the fall that kills you, they say. It's the impact with the ground.
The sudden stop.
Well, this time, the impact with the ground only shatters all the bones in your legs. You hear laughter from above, followed by, "Look out!" before you're crushed underneath about a dozen separate cinder blocks. Eric.
This is worse than being hit by a bus.
Eric, you make it back to Gerald's bed in the hospital. It seems like the doctor was waiting for you. The doctor's waiting for you. Eric, do you have a moment?
Yes.
Okay. Gerald seems to be stable for the moment, but all of our tests are coming back negative. There is one option we haven't explored yet. One of our doctors is suggesting exploratory brain surgery. There might be something pressing on his adrenal gland that didn't show up on our initial scans. We'd like your consent to take Gerald into surgery right now and cut open his brain to try and find out what's the matter.
Why the fuck does Eric have my power of attorney?
Shut up. I'm assuming on your forged medical documents and phony health insurance that you two traveling together would make the most sense.
Okay.
Sure. What are the risks?
Well, I want to make it very clear that if we do nothing, we are convinced that Gerald will die. However, there's a good chance that if we do the surgery, he also will die.
From the surgery?
From the surgery. The adrenal gland is very deep inside the brain, but we're really out of ideas here. Nothing seems to make any medical sense with what's going on, and the only thing that any of us can think of is maybe something with the adrenal gland is causing his body to go into overdrive. So it's risky. The surgery has a very good chance of killing him. We feel that we don't know what else it could possibly be.
Jeez. It's just my hyperthyroidism. I'll be fine.
Eric, you have out of doctor knowledge that says that this is obviously something else. You don't think brain surgery is going to help based on what you learned from the demon. However, I'm not going to stop you from allowing these doctors to cut into Gerald's brain because they don't know any better.
Then we're going to hold off for the moment. I need time to think about it.
Of course, we will continue to monitor his condition. If anything changes, we will do our best to... I don't really know at this point. But I understand. This is it's a big decision, and even if everything were to be successful, he could be left with severe cognitive disabilities. We'll leave you alone with your friend here to try and figure out if we can come up with any other ideas. All right, the doctor leaves, and I have this written. If Eric agrees to the brain surgery, Gerald dies. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Wow. Wow, I'm glad. There's no reason to do that. You know it's demon. You know it's solely
Now,
there's no reason to okay brain surgery on me.
Eric, you get a phone call from Vance. Ring, ring, ring. And,
Answer.
okay. Well, I got some good news, and then a whole lot of bad news. The good news is I know what it is. Bad news is you're not going to like it.
Well, I don't like it now, so not much change there.
It sounds like a case of demonic infection. It's very rare. There's some lore that says it's kind of like your soul catching a cold from close contact with a demon. Except this one drives you crazy, and then it kills you. There's two options, and neither of which is guaranteed to work. But it's all about helping the spirit fight back what's killing it. First option is like demonic antibiotics. It's a mix of warding symbols, holy water, and Buddhist chanting. You set it up, keep it going until he wakes up, or he doesn't. Oh, and you'll need to summon the demon that infected him, which you can do with some of Gerald's blood. That's option one. Second option, not as safe, but more powerful, more likely to help, but not as safe for you. Different symbols, and you'll need to get your hands on some African dream root to go in after him and help pull him back. But if you can't do it, there's no guarantee you come back out.
Well, summoning the demon,
that's something that you know you could do easily. Like a demonic summoning is a lot different from going out and picking a fight with a demon.
That was a pretty bad demon, though.
Yeah, like it wasn't the asshole I got in my trunk or Conway's trunk. He was a heavier hitter than that. So
Gerald Conway has demonic junk in his trunk.
Just say the ward fails for something, and then all that work would be for naught. I'd rather just myself in the attempt to rescue him. So I would track down the things needed to do the second option.
Okay, it's mainly standard components. Some of Gerald's hair, some holy water, some other minor things that you're able to just have access to as part of your standard going out to fight monsters kit. The only thing that you don't have is the African dream root, so you need to tell me how you would go about tracking down some of that.
I want to search online.
Okay, you make a tech use roll?
Yeah.
You're able to find a reclusive millionaire who has his own little personal collection of authentic African things in his house, like tribal things. We're talking shields, spears, furs, different artifacts from his natural African heritage. He really wanted to get back to his roots, as it were. He's got a lot of guilt for being rich. So he's got his own little personal museum to preserve his African heritage. And among that, you find reference to some authentic African dream root. His house is about half an hour away.
All right, let's get the burgling.
Okay, it's already evening when all this is going on. We're celebrating at night. This is all taking place over the course of a couple of hours. You make it to his house. It's not like he's Mr. Gated Community with guards standing outside. He's got a nice little McMansion here. Probably a maid staff based on what you've seen.
First one to case the joint really quick.
Okay.
To see if there's any alarm systems or anything like that.
No, he's got an alarm system. It's armed.
Disable the alarm system and steal into his home in the middle of the night.
Okay, that's going to be a tech use roll of 18. Not only do you disable his alarm system, that roll you're able to disable his phone as well, his landline, and hack into the wireless network and reroute his phone to the home shopping network.
Wow.
You could have turned it off. But you thought it might be a lot funnier if the home shopping network got a phone call of an intruder at night. So you're able to make that happen. As far as stealing into his house in the middle of the night, I'm going to make another roll. It's not your strongest suit, so you roll a 4.
Fortunately, with that tech use roll, you managed to even hack his guard dog.
Your con game is 3. It's one of those things where you make it to the back door and you spend about 2 minutes trying to fiddle with the lock, because you've done it before. You've picked the lock, but this one's just a little stubborn, and eventually you just like, fuck it, and you break out the window and you let yourself in. And you're inside the dude's house. You do not know if he heard the window break or not.
I proceed as if he did hear it.
Okay, alright, so you're moving quick. You're in a kitchen, big kitchen. Like, his stove has like 14 fucking burners. He's got an island, granite countertops. It's one of the better kitchens you've ever been in. And you make your way through, you get to the living room, and you see just shit everywhere. There's glass cases everywhere. This guy's one of the most pretentious pieces of crap you've ever seen. He's got like African cloaks and shields and all different glass cases everywhere. Upstairs, you do hear a noise. One of those big banister staircases that comes down from 2 directions. You see a light turn on up in the corner.
All right. At the bottom of the staircase, out of sight, and wait for him to investigate.
And typical rich dude fashion, he starts making his way over down the stairs. He's in a robe, black guy, like blacker than Wesley Snipes type guy. And the short guy, a little fat, and he starts huffing his way down the stairs. He's a little out of breath by the time he gets to the bottom, and he starts making his way to the alarm system, the alarm panel, which he's kind of curious, like, why didn't it go off, or what's going on? So he gets ready to like start pushing buttons on it, and he doesn't see you.
All right. Well, I walk up behind him and press the barrel of the gun to the back of his head.